Why, good morning. As you can probably tell, I'm not in a parking garage anymore because I'm no longer in Knoxville. I'm back, for at least part of the summer, in suburban Nashville, which is exactly like suburban anywhere else, except I'm really close to Beech Bend. Just so happy to be back here because obviously Beech Bend is a much better home park than Dollywood, obviously. But in all seriousness, I have been told that Kentucky Rumbler actually got Titan Track on it and some other retracking and refurbishment work done this year, so I am really interested to see how it's running. Unfortunately, the work wasn't done in time for season opening, which is why I haven't been up there yet, even though I've been in the area for like 2 weeks at this point. Beech Bend, if you didn't know, is in Bowling Green, Kentucky. It is the closest park to Nashville, so for all of us Nashvillian enthusiasts, at least I grew up as a Nashvillian enthusiast, that's our home park. But yeah, I did just get confirmation that the retracking work on Kentucky Rumbler is done. It's back open. I asked what kind of work was done, and I didn't get an answer on that. I just got a it's back open. So I know there's some Titan Track. I don't know how much. I don't know if anything else is going on. So let's go check it out. All right, stop to get some lunch to make sure I'm filled up before I go in the park because Beech Bend food is not great.
But hey, look, there's a small plane. A little biplane. That's kind of cool.
We're like in the very corner of downtown Bowling Green. I put downtown in quotation marks because I wouldn't really call a bunch of strip malls downtown. But anyways, we just kind of clipped through this corner on our way up to Beech Bend. So we're pretty much there. So I'm going to go ahead and, go the rest of the way there now that I'm done eating.
Yep, so this is the road into the park. I haven't seen a single car between downtown Bowling Green and here. It's like a mile, like 2 miles maybe, if I had to guess. Should get our first view of Kentucky Rumbler coming over this hill. But we'll see how full the parking lot is. There it is over there. I can't actually really see where any of the Titan Track is. We'll find out when we go in. It's quite a long and interesting little driveway into the park. There's another view of Kentucky Rumbler. Actually, the trees are blocking it today, more than I would have expected before. There's quite a few cars here today, so it's not gonna be dead, but not gonna be too crazy.
Yeah, I'm just realizing that this will be my first time visiting Beech Bend since I started Coasting the Planet as a separate channel. So for a lot of y'all, it's maybe your first time seeing Beech Bend, first time you've seen me at Beech Bend. I think I hear Kentucky Rumbler going.
Yeah, it just came over that turn.
This is one of those very small, family-owned, hyper-local amusement parks that are really a dying breed in America, but this is how amusement parks started in America, so it's always cool to visit a park like this. Like Lake Winnie. You may have seen my video from Lake Winnie recently. This is a lot more Kentucky, though. Let's go.
One way you know it's a small park is that they don't actually pave the whole parking lot. They just pave the lanes between where you park, and then you park on the grass. You see that at a lot of small amusement parks in America, but you see this a lot in Europe as well. Actually, in Europe, a lot of major parks do their parking lots this way as well. But here in America, it's mostly just the smaller parks.
Yeah, it's might be a little weird because it's been a long time since I've been to this park by myself. I pretty much always bring friends because I feel like it's one of those parks that's just more fun with friends. Usually I hang out with Nathan because he's probably my best coaster enthusiast friend. I've known him since high school, and we both have a special connection to this place, so it's a lot of fun to come here and screw around. But unfortunately, Nathan and I both are going out of country next week, and we only had one day that we would both be able to visit a park this week, and so we decided to go to Holiday World instead for obvious reasons. So I'm going to Holiday World in 2 days. So yeah, I did want to check out Kentucky Rumbler's refurbishment and get a visit into Beech Bend before I left the country for half the summer, so I decided to come by myself today.
Yeah, here's the park. Kentucky Rumbler is directly in front of me. I think it's cycling a train right now, so we should see that in just a second or two. As I'm walking up here, I think you can barely see it. It'll come around this more visible turn in just a second, but also we're about to go into the park, so we will see much more closely. Yeah, there you go. But yeah, there's a traveling log flume. The Sea Dragon is Michael Jackson's, actually was from Michael Jackson's backyard at Neverland Ranch. Some other fun flat rides as well. Shows a better view of the park. I like to describe it as like a permanently installed fairground that just happens to have a GCI, which honestly, that's probably the best description. But there is an included water park, which is actually pretty decent. Not gonna lie. I actually like the water park here at Beech Bend better than Nashville Shores, which is the main waterpark in Nashville. So yeah, I don't know if that's a controversial opinion, but I said it. Oh my gosh, there's a line of ticketing. I've never seen that before. I'm dual wielding, too powerful. They can't stop me. All right, let's see what kind of track work we got this year. Okay, I do see some Titan track as well as some traditional retracking. So you can see there's some traditional retracting, just of the top layers. There's all 5 layers or 7 layers or whatever it is. And there's actually a bit of Titan track all the way around that turn. I'm not really sure where else though. I thought I saw some up there, but I didn't. But there is some traditional retracking up there. I'm gonna go ride it, and then hopefully that'll give me a better idea of what exactly is going on. You can see a lot of the retracking is just like the top 2 layers and not the full stack like what Dollywood did on Thunderhead or what Holiday World normally does on their woodies. But I assume it's better than nothing. I've never actually had the opportunity to try any rides with Titan Track yet, so this will be interesting. For those of you who don't know, Titan Track is GCI's Steel Track, which is the company that built this ride, as well as Thunderhead at Dollywood. Kind of a competing product to RMC's 208 Retrack. And the idea with the Titan Track is just to reinforce areas with high stress using Steel Track so that you don't have to retrack as much, you know, not as much maintenance. Oh, look at that. There's a bunch of Titan Track on that valley as well. There's actually a whole lot of Titan Track compared to what we normally see on a lot of other woodies that have gotten Titan Track. Exit through the gift shop, except the gift shop door looks like somewhere you're not supposed to be. I think the most shocking part of this whole renovation is that Kentucky Rumbler's on-ride photos are now working. Like, when you come out through the gift shop, there was always where the on-ride photo was supposed to be, but it probably hadn't operated since like the ride opened. It's running now. I just walked by it. There were pictures up on the screen. There was somebody sitting there waiting to sell them to you, so that's kind of weird. I don't want to take pictures of the monitors or anything, but trust me, it's open. You can buy the pictures. Yeah, so for my first experience with Titan Track, it's very interesting. I want to say it feels very similar to RMC's iBox track, but I actually don't really think it does. It's distinctly different than traditional wood coaster track, right? So it's very different than like the topper track iBox transitions on Lightning Rod, for example, because the topper track the RMC uses is very similar to their iBox track. You can't tell when the track changes. The iBox sections are obviously a little smoother than the topper track, but you don't really notice a difference in how it rides. Between the traditional wood coaster construction technique and the Titan Track, you notice the difference, like immediately. It rides completely differently. But the Titan Track, it was kind of unlike anything I've ridden before. It felt very much like a steel coaster, except I think it may like kind of be textured on the top or something, because that's kind of what it feels like. It feels like a steel coaster, but like with some texture. So it's like not rumbly, but I don't know, it's weird. I'm doing a really bad job describing this. Maybe after I ride it a few times, I'll be able to describe it a little bit better. But yeah, as for the Titan Track, it's just on as you come over that hill, through the turn and all the way back to the station. So it is quite a bit of Titan Track, but it's all on that one turnaround. And it makes that turn incredibly forceful. I don't know if it was just the fact that it was wood before made it feel less forceful, but with the Titan Track on it, with the steel track, you can like actually feel a decent bit of G's on that turn, which I think is really interesting. But yeah, I'm gonna get a few more rides in just because it's Beech Bend, no crowds, and I'll see how I feel about it after riding it a few more times. In terms of the other retrack sections, it is probably the most track work this ride's ever gotten, to be completely honest. But like I said, in most places, it's not the full 5-stack retracking. It's usually just the top 2 layers or so, and in very sporadic places, it's not a consistent retrack like what Dollywood did with Thunderhead in the last couple of years. Because of that, I would say the ride definitely runs better. There were a few spots last year and previous years where it like felt kind of painful for a second. There's no more painful spots, but it's not smooth the way that Thunderhead or like Holiday World's woodies are after a retracking. And so yeah, it's still rumbly, but it is called Kentucky Rumbler, so what'd you expect? But yeah, when you look at the Titan Track, you can almost see like a black stripe on top, placed on top of the steel, which is what makes me almost wonder if it's textured in some way, because it definitely rides like that. It could just be like a traditional steel plate that they just put on top so it runs consistently like a woodie, but I feel it really felt like it has some kind of texturing to it. Not sure what that was. Well, they just broke it, so never mind. All right, yeah, so the ride just went down after a couple rides. I just talked to a ride op who was pretty chill. He told me it should be back up again pretty soon. We were talking about the retrack a little bit. So basically the problem they're having right now is that the ride's running too fast since they did the retracking, and especially with the steel track, it like absolutely flies over. So I think he said last year it took about 90 seconds to complete a ride cycle, and now it's completing ride cycles in under 80, which is tripping off warning sensors and causing the ride to shut itself off. So they just have to have maintenance come reset it like every couple hours or something. So yeah, it should be back up pretty soon. They just have to reset it real quick, which I think is really funny. The ride up also told me that they are planning on converting the whole thing to like all steel, all Titan track at some point. Pretty much every other Titan track we've seen go into a ride, it's just to reinforce a certain section, which is kind of what we've seen here. But apparently the plan is to keep putting Titan track in until basically the whole ride is Titan track. Again, that's just one ride operator that told me that, so it may not necessarily be true, but that's certainly interesting if it is what they're going for. But yeah, he told me what started this whole Titan track conversion project is apparently near the end of the season last year, the track just split. So then they were like, all right, let's start steel tracking this thing. Which I think is kind of funny and is like 100% a Beech Bend moment. Again, coming from just one ride operator, so it may not necessarily be true, but funny nonetheless. All right, we're on the other side of the park. Kentucky Rumbler is all the way over there, so we came all the way to the other side. Pretty small park, but you still can't see Rumbler from the other side because of the trees and stuff. They're gonna ride their other major coaster. It's a Zamperla Wild Mouse. Yeehaw, this thing breaks down a lot, so I'm gonna get on it before it breaks later today. That is a really bad Wild Mouse. The ride operator was awesome though, so I feel bad saying the ride was bad. Because it's probably the best ride operator I've had on any ride in a long time. He's one of those people you can tell he just loves his job. So shout out to that guy in the blue shirt. Awesome job. Yeah, that guy in the blue shirt, awesome. Great ride operator. Beech Bend, I don't know who he is or if you can tell who he is, but don't fire him. Keep him for sure. Good guy. Heck yeah. You know, he was all like, oh yeah, you ready to ride, dude? All right, let's go. And he was like, asking if you wanted to spin or not so we could get the weight distribution right. Because if you distribute the weight in a certain way, it spins more. You know, all that good kind of stuff. It's just a shame that the ride that he's running is absolute garbage. Yeah, the traditional Wild Mouse sections at the beginning don't do anything. For whatever reason this year, it has braked into absolute oblivion. So you like slam to like a complete stop on every single brake run. And then once you get spinning, if you get your weight distribution right, you can actually get spinning pretty fast, but it's not like fun spinning. It doesn't seem to pull a lot of forces. It feels like you're just spinning for the sake of spinning. It's not a super rough ride, but it's not smooth either. It's pretty janky. Overall, it's just not good. It's a bad Wild Mouse. For my Disney people, if you ever did Primeval Whirl at Animal Kingdom before it got removed, it's the exact same ride layout as that, except this one has slightly newer trains than Primeval Whirl did, so the trains are a little bit more comfortable than what Disney had, which is kind of funny. But yeah, it's just a slightly newer version of Primeval World. It's still terrible. It does appear that Kentucky Rumbler is back up and running though. So I'm gonna grab a few more rides on that before I head into the water park for an hour or two. Water park's open until 6 tonight. Dry park's open until 7. I got here around 1 p.m. It's plenty of time for this, especially since I've been here so many times before. Get the music from Thunderbolt playing so loud that it can be clearly heard all the way over here. That's awesome. I need to get a lot of off-ride footage as well, so I can hopefully do an off-ride footage video for it with the new Titan track on it and stuff. So yeah, I'm just gonna kind of go back and forth between riding and getting some off-ride footage of this ride. The operations are really slow as usual. Dispatching trains slower than the DC Metro, so that makes it a little hard to get footage. But like I said, I'm not in a time crunch today because it's Beech Bend. There's not a ton I feel like I need to run around and do here, so. Well, I was trying to get some more off-ride footage and they may have broken it again because the lift keeps starting and stopping and the train's not dispatching. Like it'll hiss and the lift will start up and then nothing will happen, so. Oh. Yeah, and the lift slowed back down. This is weird. They're playing What Does the Fox Say in there though, so it's a vibe. Oh, okay, there it goes. What? Nope. Oh, no. Okay. No, you got it. Yeah. See, I believe in you. Ride. I just finished what was probably ride like number 7 or 8. I'll double check my count in a second, but it has warmed up a lot and is running really fast. And especially I got a few rides with fully loaded trains, so it just absolutely flies. The first airtime hill after the drop is crazy. Not necessarily crazy in terms of airtime, but you just fly over it with so much speed going into that Titan track section. So I'm gonna think they had to have done something else because a little bit of wooden retracking plus the Titan track would not make it fly that fast, I don't think. They have to have done some extra greasing of the wheels or something like that this year because it's flying ridiculously fast. I'd still say Thunderhead's a much better ride, but it's definitely running with more speed, or at least more perceived speed than Thunderhead. It feels like you're flying a lot more than Thunderhead. Probably closer to Mystic Timbers in terms of how much it feels like you're just flying. Still not as good on the airtime and smoothness as Thunderhead and Mystic Timbers, so it's still number 3 of 3 out of the 3 GCIs I've ridden, but it's definitely running better this year for sure. And I'm extremely interested to see if they are going to do more retracking on it or not. Yeah, we're on the back side of the water park here. There's like 2 slide complexes in this water park. That one's the older one over there, which you can see from the entrance a little more. That one's not as good. This is what makes this water park for me. This is a ProSlides complex from, I think, 2016, 2017, somewhere around there. And it is absolutely awesome. Completely state-of-the-art. You can see each one of the slides represents a different element of the modern ProSlides water slides. So the green one's got the saucers. This like turquoise one has the weird half pipe things. I think they're called tornadoes. Purple's the toilet bowl. And then orange is the giant half pipe. And these slides are crazy intense. Absolutely love them. They also let you do any of these with a single tube or a double tube. So if you got a friend, you can kind of get a different experience. I'm deciding for sure right this second if I want to go into the water park or not. I'm thinking I might, because it's in the mid 80s right now, so pretty hot. But the sun's not beating down, so, you know, probably won't get sunburned or anything like that. So I might go do a few slides. I brought my swim trunks and a towel, so I might as well, I guess. I don't think I've actually done these water slides or even been in Beech Bend's water park since, like, I think it was like 2021, I think. Yeah, so it's been 2 years. So I'm excited to get back on these slides. They're good slides. I'll probably just do each of the ProSlide slides once and then be done. We'll see. All right, so I'm the only one in here right now. So these changing rooms are about what you'd expect from like a summer camp, but at least they have plenty of them, because a lot of water parks I've been to, there are not enough changing rooms and there's a long line. But I got like 12, maybe 15, 20 in here, a lot, and there's separate men's and women's obviously, so all good. Quality doesn't matter too much. You're just changing real quick, but yeah, it's about middle school summer camp quality. So you can see these older slides are closed today, not even running water through them, which is fine, because these kind of suck. So yeah, this is the older slide complex, and the newer ones down in this corner, down this ridiculously steep, it's not even showing up on camera. This is so ridiculously steep. It's even pretty steep in shoes, but when you come and try to walk down this barefoot, it is crazy, because like, you know, if you slip, then your feet are going to be all cut up and bloody. Yeah, tucked away in this corner of the water park is what literally makes this entire water park. Definitely the best thing here. I think most people just spend their time over in this corner for sure. Really the best of what ProSlide has to offer in 4 slides. Green's definitely the most tame, but it's still a lot of fun. I went down and going backwards, and that's a blast. The ops let you go either way, whatever you want. You can go forwards, backwards, you can go spinning. All the other slides have really steep, incredible drops, and it's just a lot of fun. It's just funny because it's tucked away in this corner, like away from the rest of the water park, when it's like clearly the star attraction of the water park. Yeah, if you come to Beech Bend, you've got to do the water park, if only for those, oh, my hair's all messed up from the water park, but if only for those 4 slides, that one side complex, you got to do it. I will say these are getting pretty dirty on the inside. A lot of bird poop and crap that hasn't been cleaned up. Around some of the corners, especially on the saucers on the green one, there's like all sorts of leaves and twigs and just general dirt that's fallen on there, and they've never gotten off. It's all building up, so it's kind of gross. I don't know how often they clean these, but evidently they need to do it a little more often, because I just don't really see that at other water parks. But anyways, you can kind of walk under here. We're in the dry park now, but they kind of built this whole complex over part of the dry park path, just where they had space. Incredible decision. Love this. The water park closes in about half an hour. The dry park closes in about an hour and a half. I just wanted to go ahead and get out of there, so I had time to do a few more stuff in the dry park before it closes. But yeah, all the slide waits were only about 10 minutes, which wasn't that bad. And then near the end there, like the lines just disappeared. I don't know if you saw when I showed you all over there was nobody in line at all, so you could just lap it. So I got like 3 rides on every one of the slides. It was pretty awesome. I'd love to keep going, but like I said, just want to do a little more dry park stuff. Fortunately, Vortex is closed today, which sucks because that's probably the best flat ride in the park. But yeah, it's down. It's been closed all day. I was going to show you on the way by this way a new for 2023 change that is a little interesting. It's really the only major change I've noticed, other than the retracking on Kentucky Rumbler. And I'll show you in just a second. So it's right here to the left of the water park entrance from this side. There's Bluegrass Bakes and Brews. Some southern baked treats as well as beer. So that's quite the interesting combo. You can say it kind of has that southern hospitality aesthetic going on. Some new seating, brand new seating as well to go with it. Got these walls rolled up. It's got another window in the water park and the new seating in the water park as well. That's kind of interesting. Hopefully they keep sprucing up the park a little bit like this. It's cool to see. It's definitely the nicest looking building in the park. All right, on my way back to Rumbler, I'm gonna ride real quick on Thunderbolts. new for last year ride, although they bought it used. It's like a 90s model, but still a lot of fun. I love that they blast the music on it. All right, can't not ride Michael Jackson's Sea Dragon while I'm here. Got to, you know? But yeah, there you go. This is the one. Whew, I'm sitting down for just a second. Yeah, Sea Dragon's fun. Just they don't play the Michael Jackson music nearly as loud as they used to, so you can't even really hear it. Especially with Thunderbolt next door blasting its music, you can't really hear the Michael Jackson. Just sad, because what kind of made that ride was, well, it's his ride, so it makes sense that you would hear his music blasting on it. They still do play it, but very quietly, so you could barely even hear it. Very sad. Thunderbolt's fun though. I think I do prefer Thunderbolt slightly over the Flying Bob's ride that's at Lake Winnie. Even though the Lake Winnie one's a little bit faster, this one goes forward and backwards and has the music, which adds a lot to the experience of those types of rides in my opinion, so I like this one a little better. Oh, I also did the drop tower too, because those Larson drop towers are just insanely forceful. And that one's crazy, because super forceful for some reason. You brake really low to the ground. Just a lot of fun. Oh, and just because it's memorable and I forgot to mention it in this actual video, they didn't actually check my restraint on the drop tower this time. I just walked around the backside, sat down, buckled, and then we just kind of went. The operator didn't even walk around to that side of the platform, which, as someone that understands a lot about how these kind of rides work, I just thought it was kind of funny for me because I knew that I was safe, but I know that could be scary for your average park guest, and honestly kind of dangerous because, like I said, he didn't even walk around to that side, so for all he knew, I wasn't even in the seat and was just in the ride perimeter while the ride was running, which could be very dangerous. So just not good thing to do, Beech Bend. So I just wanted to call them out for that. That's bad. Even if you're not going to check the restraints, because the computer should know that they're locked, but you need to at least do a visual check around the entire tower. I'll check that out. They have on-ride photographs set up for the little traveling log flume as well. That's kind of cool. Kind of funny, actually. Wouldn't expect this ride. So yeah, this and Kentucky Rumbler's on-ride photos are working now. You can buy them. Oh, dang. I don't like being on camera. I hate that. Ugh. Got a beautiful view of some Titan Track here as I eat dinner. This slice of pizza and soda was $11. Amusement and theme park food prices are just out of hand right now. Actually, prices in general out of hand, just everywhere. I was just talking to somebody the other day about how when I went to Holiday World in 2019, it only cost me like $25, $30 to get in. And now it's going to be $50 to get in on Thursday, and that's considered a good deal. On the weekends, it's like $60. I'm pretty sure it's up to like $70, $75 on the weekends in like the middle of the summer. Yikes. Even just here, the standard admission price is like, I think $45 now, which for this park, I think is way too much. At least value-wise, comparing to what other parks you can get into for $45 right now. But a season pass is a much better deal. It's like $70, which I think is fair for a park of this size. I went ahead and got that anyway, just because I'm a Nashvillian coaster enthusiast at heart, and this being the closest amusement park to our city, I want to support it and be a pass holder. Even though I'm going to be gone for half the summer, I don't even know if I'm going to be back here again. Yeah, it's a pretty big slice of pizza, obviously, but it's painfully mediocre at best. It's got a ton of sauce on it, like way too much. I've had better pizza here in the past. It's all right, though. At a park like Dollywood or Holiday World, or even most of the Cedar Fair parks, you can find some like half-decent food at least. But you're just probably not going to have that kind of luck at a park like this. It's not why you come here, so either don't eat here and just eat before and after, or prepare for not good food at all. Sorry, Beech Bend, your food's just not good. I'm not gonna say it's good if it's not good. It's not. You know, for as small as this park is, this ride is shockingly hard to get footage of. There's just so many trees on one side, and then the other side you can't even like get to as a park guest, so it's kind of hard to get some footage. All right, finished out with 9 rides at Kentucky Rumbler. Park just closed, which is pretty good. Definitely could have gotten a lot more if their operations weren't slow as molasses, but they don't really have an incentive to go faster because the trains are only half full, even with how slow they're running, because this park doesn't get much attendance. But one more interesting change before I go. They finally took down the Rainbow Rock sign, which is funny because Rainbow Rock's not been here for like 5 years. Everybody grabbing their snacks on the way out. I'm like, heck no, I'm just leaving.
All right, Titan Trek, final thoughts. I like it, but it's weird. Like I said, riding on the Titan Track, when the trains actually ride on it, it feels different than any other roller coaster I've ridden. It doesn't feel like a steel coaster. It doesn't feel like a wood coaster. It doesn't feel like RMC's iBox track, although that's probably what it's most similar to. It still doesn't feel exactly like that. It's its own thing, and I like that. I like that turn is so much more forceful feeling now. I think it's just because it's not like rumbling at all. You can like feel the positive force a lot more than you would otherwise. So yeah, it's fun. The rest of the retrack work on Kentucky Rumbler, like I said, and you can probably see, in most places it was just like the first 2 pieces of wood on the stack, not the whole stack. Obviously, I prefer when parks do the full stack, but that's exceptionally rare. I'm just spoiled with Dollywood doing that to Thunderhead, and Holiday World always doing that with their woodies. Most parks, even big corporate parks, will just let their wooden coasters run until they like literally need to be retracked and then just do like the top layers. They don't really care. And Beech Bend doesn't have the budget to be retracking full stack all the time. I know that. So for Beech Bend's budget, I think this was a really good improvement to the ride. It's not going to run as smooth as Thunderhead or Mr. Timbers or any other newer or properly retracked woodie. But it doesn't really have any painful spots on it anymore. There were a few moments before where it would kind of jolt and be a little painful. It doesn't have anything like that anymore. It does run still a little bit on the rough side, but I don't think that's a bad thing. I think for the kind of ride it is, that works for it. Just the Titan Track really weirdly contrasts that, because the whole ride's kind of rumbly, has some bite to it, and the Titan Track's just gloss smooth, and it's like a completely different ride for about 10 or 20 seconds when you're on it. The ride operator did tell me the plan is to keep Titan tracking sections until the whole ride is steel. That doesn't really seem to make a lot of sense to me, and like I said, it's just from one ride op. So if I had to guess, if this ends up being successful, they might put Titan Track on a few more spots, but I don't feel like they're going to do the whole thing. But I guess we're going to find out in the next couple of years. We'll see. I'm just really not sure how to feel about it, the Titan Track, because by itself, it's pretty cool, but it contrasts the rest of the ride so much, it's almost to its detriment. It's weird. I need a few days to sit on it and think about it and have like more coherent thoughts. But Beech Bend as a whole was fun today. It was fun to get back into their water park, because I hadn't been in their water park in 2 years now. And it's a really good water park. Shoot, I hear a train, and that train track blocks the exit to the park. So it looks like we're going to be here for a little while, so I'll just keep talking. I think the whole park in general, especially its infrastructure, could use a lot of TLC. But with the kind of attendance that Beech Bend gets, and so the revenue they're going to be pulling in, I just don't think they can afford the kind of TLC that I would like to see it have, which is really unfortunate. But for what's there, it's fun. It's nothing mind-blowing. But as I mentioned before, it's one of those classic hyper-local American amusement parks that's like really a dying breed, so it's cool to see it still around. And I do really enjoy these smaller parks because you don't feel as rushed the whole time like you do at a big park. You get the same amount of time, but there's less rides to get to, less lines, so you can take more time to just enjoy the atmosphere, relax a little bit, get a lot of rides on the rides that you really like, etc., etc. It's just a different environment. That's why I love coming here, or like Fun Spot Atlanta, or anywhere like that. Fun Spot Atlanta especially, because giant RMC. It is really nice to see them doing the retrack on Kentucky Rumbler, as well as some other little things throughout the park, like that new baked goods and beer stand that was actually really nice looking. Adding the on-ride photos back to Kentucky Rumbler and adding them to the log flume as well. They're really trying to make some investments into the park when they can. But you have to think about what kind of park this is and how much money that they have to spend on this kind of projects and upgrades and such. I think they're doing what they can, and I respect them for that. And I hope it pays off for them. I'm just still kind of unsure about the long-term future of this park, because you have Kentucky Kingdom very close by in Louisville, Kentucky. That's obviously the better theme park in Kentucky, and with Hershey now owning it, they're going to put a lot of money into it, supposedly. Holiday World is also very close nearby, which blows this park away in almost every regard. The closest major city that doesn't have a theme park to Beech Bend is, of course, Nashville, but that's probably not going to stay the same for very long. There are like multiple proposals out right now for Nashville theme parks. There have been for years, so it may never happen, but it could happen, and that would, I think, hurt Beech Bend. So we just have some steep competition, and it's going to keep getting steeper. So it's going to be interesting to see how they deal with that. If I'm being completely honest, I think that Beech Bend's future is just going to be in, you know, locals from the middle of nowhere, Kentucky. And for that specific kind of demographic, I think this park offers plenty. But, you know, we'll see. We are in a very interesting point, I think, in the amusement industry as a whole right now, especially here in North America. A lot of interesting things happening, and it's going to be fun to follow over the next couple of years. Otherwise, I'm going to go home because I still feel like sticky from all the chlorine. I'm going to go take a shower.